The evening sky outside was painted in deep, brooding shades of indigo and violet, the last traces of sunlight slipping behind the distant city skyline. Streetlights flickered on one by one, casting warm pools of light that reflected off the polished asphalt. Inside the apartment, the gentle hum of the TV filled the otherwise quiet room, offering a steady, familiar rhythm that contrasted with the stillness of the night. Sophia sat curled up on the living room couch, her laptop balanced across her knees. Her fingers scrolled absent-mindedly, moving through social media feeds and news articles, though her mind was elsewhere. A faint tension pulled at the back of her shoulders, a whisper of unease she couldn't quite place. She glanced at the clock on the wall. 10:17 p.m. The apartment was silent except for the occasional muffled sound coming from the bedroom down the hall. Her curiosity stirred, compelling her to rise. She left the couch and walked quietly down the polished wooden hallway, her bare feet barely making a sound. The bedroom door was slightly ajar, and a soft glow from inside spilled into the corridor. Sophia paused, her heart skipping a beat. There was something delicate and almost sacred about this moment. The sense of peering into a world she hadn't been invited into. She took a slow breath and pushed the door open gently. What she saw made her freeze. A young man sat on the bed, propped against the headboard, his laptop open on his knees. The screen bathed his face in a soft glow, highlighting the tension in his features. Sophia's eyes widened as she registered what he was watching. An adult film, one of the kind that left nothing to imagination. His hand moved beneath the blanket, and his expression was a mixture of concentration, guilt, and embarrassment. "Sophia," she said softly, her voice a whisper but heavy in the still air. He jumped, the sudden sound making him snap his head up as if caught in a crime. The laptop slammed shut, and his face turned crimson. "Sophia, I didn't hear you come in," he stammered, pulling the blanket closer around him as if it could shield him from her gaze. Sophia stepped fully into the room, closing the door behind her. She crossed her arms, leaning against the wall, her expression calm but curious. "What are you doing?" she asked, though the answer hung clearly in the air. He looked down at the blanket, avoiding her eyes. I was just..." Sophia interrupted gently, sensing his discomfort. "It's okay. You don't have to explain. I know what you were doing." A heavy silence filled the room, tense and almost palpable. His heart raced. The air felt thick, every breath a struggle. He fidgeted with the blanket, feeling exposed and utterly embarrassed. Sophia walked toward the bed and sat on its edge. Her presence was calm, steady, and yet unnervingly intimate. She studied him, softening her gaze, and finally asked, "Do you want to talk about it?" His mind raced. He wanted to brush it off, to pretend nothing had happened, but the weight of her gaze made it impossible. I'm just nervous," he admitted quietly, almost a whisper. "Nervous about what?" Sophia encouraged, tilting her head slightly, her voice gentle. He exhaled, running a hand through his messy hair. "About Lily. We've been dating for a while, and she wants to take things further. But I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared I'll embarrass myself." Sophia nodded, her expression softening with understanding. She placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "It's normal to feel that way. Everyone feels nervous the first time. It's a big moment, and it's okay to be unsure." He looked up at her, eyes wide with a mix of gratitude and desperation. "But what if I'm terrible at it? What if she's disappointed?" Sophia smiled faintly, squeezing his shoulder. "You're overthinking it. Just be yourself. Communication is key. Listen to her, talk to her, and don't rush. It's not about perfection. It's about being present." He nodded slowly, yet doubt lingered in his eyes. I wish I knew what to expect. I don't want to let her down." Sophia exhaled, her heart aching for him. She wished she could erase his worries, but words could only do so much. "You'll figure it out," she said softly, standing up. "Just trust yourself." She left the room, closing the door behind her, and leaned against the hallway wall. Her mind was a storm of conflicting emotions. She wanted to help him, but she wasn't sure how far she could, or should go. Returning to the living room, she sat down again, staring blankly at the flickering TV. The image of his vulnerability haunted her thoughts. How could she help him? What could she do to make him feel confident and prepared? The following days were heavy with unspoken tension. Every glance, every movement seemed magnified under Sophia's careful observation. She noticed how he fidgeted during meals, how he hesitated before speaking, how his mind often seemed elsewhere. She had always cared for him, even though she wasn't his biological mother. From the moment she married his father 5 years ago, she had formed a bond with him, one that was maternal, yet friendly. Now, seeing him struggle, she felt an urge stronger than ever to guide him, even if it meant navigating uncharted waters. One evening, as Sophia chopped vegetables in the kitchen, she found herself staring out the window, lost in thought. He lounged on the couch, his leg bouncing nervously, absorbed in his phone. Sophia set down the knife and wiped her hands, then approached him. "Hey," she said softly, breaking the silence. He looked up, startled. "Yeah? You okay? You've been quiet lately." "I'm fine," he replied vaguely, eyes downcast. "Just thinking about stuff." Sophia sat beside him on the couch, her expression gentle yet concerned. "Is this about what we talked about the other night? About Lily?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah. I don't know how to stop worrying about it. It's all I can think about." Sophia reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder, squeezing it reassuringly. "It's normal to feel that way, but you can't let it consume you. You'll figure it out when the time comes." He looked at her, eyes filled with uncertainty. "I wish I could be sure. I don't want to mess it up." Sophia's heart ached for him. She wanted to reassure him, give him confidence, but words alone weren't enough. That night, lying in bed, her mind raced with ideas. She knew she needed to help him in a way beyond words, something subtle yet effective, something that would guide him without pushing too far. By morning, a plan had begun to form. Bold, unconventional, but carefully thought through. She would start small, testing his reactions, gauging how he felt, and slowly helping him navigate this complicated moment in his life. Over the next few days, Sophia's approach shifted subtly. She became more aware of how she presented herself around the house, adjusting clothing and posture in ways that naturally drew his attention without being overt. Each gesture, glance, and word was intentional, building an unspoken connection that nudged him toward confidence. He noticed, though he couldn't fully understand why. His mind raced, confused yet intrigued by Sophia's behavior. Every small interaction seemed charged with meaning, leaving him flustered, curious, and on edge. Sophia watched carefully, taking mental notes. The plan was working. Slowly, she was breaking down his walls, creating a space where he could feel supported, guided, and reassured, even as he struggled with his own emotions. By the end of the week, she felt it was time to take the next step. Sitting alone one evening, she allowed herself a deep breath, mentally preparing for what she was about to do. Every risk, every consequence had been weighed carefully, and she knew this might be the only way to truly help him. Sometimes, the smallest gestures of guidance and care can change a life forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-life tales.